If you have a sweet tooth like I have, a nice dessert after dinner is always a welcome addition. Today we're going to cook something you may have never heard of. Stick around while we fry up some fruit-filled dessert burritos. I learned how to make these burritos at a scout camp and was pleasantly surprised and immediately converted at the first bite that I took. These are super simple to make and pretty quick too if you use canned goods. Using fresh ingredients tastes just a little bit longer. We'll show you how to do both. The filling for our burritos can come from a can of pie filling. Here we have some cherry and some strawberry. You can use this pie filling if you're pressed for time. You want to make the preparation for these burritos a little simpler. Or if you have a little more time, you can make your filling from some fresh ingredients. So we're going to show you how to make an apple filling and also some blueberry. I'm going to be using 4 apples today. I've got 2 Honey Crisps and 2 Granny Smiths. I like the combination of flavors and how firm the apple slices will stay once they're cooked. So we're going to core them and peel them. I've got this fancy doodad, so I might as well use it. Otherwise you can just cube up the pieces as long as they're fairly similar in size. We'll give this thing a shot.
I ended up only using 2 apples for this batch. In the bowl you see me placing the slices in, I have a small amount of lemon juice. This lemon juice will help keep the slices from turning brown due to exposure to the air, and also help with the tartness just a little bit. I have this pellet grill from Camp Chef. On the side of this pellet grill is this nifty single burner stove called the Sidekick. I have a skillet warmed up and I placed 2 tablespoons of butter in it and let it melt. This is a 12-inch Camp Chef skillet and is the perfect size for making this pie filling. After the butter is melted, I add the apples along with a 1/4 cup of white sugar and the same amount of brown sugar. Along with the sugar, I add a teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm now adding 3 tablespoons of apple cider. You can substitute water, but the apple cider supports and enhances the apple flavor. While the apples are cooking, I mix 1 tablespoon of cornstarch with a tablespoon of apple cider. Make sure you mix this thoroughly before adding it to the apples. If you don't, you're liable to get little globs of unmixed cornstarch throughout your filling. The cornstarch will help the mix to thicken. And here's a great example of why you want to season the bottom of your lids. I gave the apples another quick stir before adding the cornstarch mix. At this point, gang, it's really unfortunate that we don't have smell-o-vision, because these things really are giving off a great aroma. You want to make sure the cornstarch gets well mixed with the liquid in the pan. After just a few minutes, the apples have softened and the liquid is thickened. I then pour the apple filling into a bowl and place it in the fridge to cool down.
Now on to the blueberries. I'm starting with 2 cups of blueberries. These are frozen. To them I'll add a 1/4 cup of sugar, a 1/4 cup of water, and a teaspoon of cinnamon. I also add just a little bit of lemon juice. This will give the compote a slight tartness that nicely offsets some of the sweetness of the sugar. I let the berry mix simmer over medium heat for several minutes before I add a slurry of 1½ tablespoons of cornstarch and the same amount of water. This thickens the juice up nicely. Once it was thickened, it gets popped into the fridge to cool. This recipe requires taco-sized flour tortillas. These measure about 9 inches in diameter, as you can tell by the size against the paper plate there. I tried a couple different brands of tortillas. One was fresh from a bakery and was a bit thicker and made with lard. The other was the same size but store-bought and thinner. You can tell which is which. The fresher tortillas have the little char marks on them. Our first burrito will be filled with canned cherry pie filling. I ladled out about 4 spoons full of filling. You use toothpicks to keep the burritos closed during frying. Make sure you remember to remove the toothpicks after frying the burrito. One of them stuck on the roof of your mouth is enough to ruin a good time. We will repeat the process with our blueberry and our apple filling. The store-bought tortillas were a bit more user-friendly as they were thinner and easier to fold. In my 10-inch Dutch oven, I've poured about 3 inches of vegetable oil, and I've heated that oil to 350 degrees. The burritos are finished frying after about 2 minutes. You can see that the store-bought tortilla browns up nicely. With the fresher, thicker tortilla, it stays a bit on the pale side. Both, however, turned out to be nice and crunchy. For the frosting, I'm sifting a cup of powdered sugar into a bowl. To that, I'll add a ½ teaspoon of vanilla and 5 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream. You can use water or milk, but I find that the cream takes away some of the cornstarch flavor. Once again, make sure you find all those pesky toothpicks. I think you really enjoy this frosting. You can change it up a little bit by substituting a few tablespoons of lemon or orange juice in place of the same amount of cream. As I cut into this blueberry burrito, you can tell how crunchy it is, and the flavor is simply amazing.
Well, there you go, gang. Super fast, super easy, and super good. Hope you enjoy this fun dessert. Something to have the kids involved with. Let them build them while you fry them. It's great for the campsite or your kitchen at home. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Come back and see us again.